and welcome back to the Rock Dojo. My name is Brian Parham, your guitar sensei. In this lesson, we're going to learn 9 must-know open chords. Before we get started, let's have a little refresher on open chord. An open chord is any chord that uses an open string. And once again, a chord is simply 2 or more notes played at the same time on the guitar. The first chord that we're going to look at is the G major chord. I'm going to start by putting my ring finger on the 3rd fret of the low E string. That's a G note. I'm going to take my middle finger and I'm going to put it on the 2nd fret of the A string, and I'm going to take my pinky and I'm going to put it on the 3rd fret of the high E string. And so the notes that we're fretting are G, B, then we have an open D, open G, a B, open, and finally a high G. That's your open G chord. Now when you're making your chord shapes for the first time, you want to strum all the strings together, and then you want to pick them individually to make sure every string is ringing out nice and clearly. Open chords are fairly challenging, so when you're first learning them, it's a really good idea to make the shape, strum it, pick them individually, then take your hand off the guitar, wave at mom, dad, your brother, or your little sister, and make it again. And you want to do that for each one of these chord shapes at least 10 times to practice getting the shape and building the muscle memory in your hands. So that's your G chord. Once you've done that 10 times, you're ready to move on to the C major chord, our second chord. To make the C major chord, we're going to take our ring finger and put it on fret number 3 of the A string. That's our C note. We're going to take our middle finger and put it on the 2nd fret of the D string. That's actually an E note right there. So we have C and E so far. We're going to play the open G string. Then we have our pointer finger and put it on the 1st fret of the B string. That's a C note as well. And finally, we're playing the open E string. So that chord, when strummed, sounds like this. Now once again, after I strum it, I'm going to go and pick it individually to make sure that every note is ringing out clearly. And the same process applies. Once I get that shape under my fingers, I'm going to practice taking my hand off the guitar, waving high, and just making that shape as many times as I can to build the muscle memory. And once you know 2 chords, you can practice switching in between. G to C. G to C. So there you have it. You have your first 2 chords. Let's move on to a minor chord. The first minor chord that we're going to learn is the E minor. Now you may have noticed the last 2 chords, C and G, sounded really happy. The sun is shining and everything is good. Now the E minor chord has a totally different sound. A lot of people think it sounds a little bit more sad, and that's the word they use to describe the minor chord, which has a different flavor than the major chord. The E minor chord is actually a really easy shape to make. First of all, you're strumming all the strings. And in terms of the fingerings, I'm going to take my middle finger, I'm going to put it on the 2nd fret of the A string. That's a B note, so 2nd fret of the A string. And then I'm going to take my ring finger and put it on fret number 2 of the D string. And I have this shape right here. And then I'm going to strum everything. And that's my minor chord. And the same process applies. Once as I'm learning any chord shape, I'm going to make the shape, I'm going to strum all the strings, and then I'm going to ensure that each note is ringing out individually. From there, I'm going to practice switching between the new chord and some other chords I know. You already know the G and C, so you can go G to C to E minor. So there you have it. You just learned 3 out of 9 must-know open chords. Your mission is to go through the sheet and make sure that you can learn all 9 of the open chords. Just remember, every guitar master was once a beginner. The more you practice, the better you'll become. I'll see you in the next lesson.